addressing the gathering there, he said, and I quote, in Murid K on the 6th and 7th of May, which is last year during Operation Sindoor, whatever happened at the masjid where we couldn't sit today was hit and demolished. It was a big attack. But Almighty Allah saved us. These children weren't here. They wanted to stay here, but their well-wishers wanted them to move from here as they were aware of the situation. Now, this is a startling admission that's been made by a member of that terrorist outfit to acknowledge the scale and magnitude of the damage that had been inflicted by our forces during Operation Sindoor. Let's listen in to what this terrorist had said, acknowledging Pakistan's failure and how they were all taken. That's Hafiz Abdul Rauf admitting that the Murid K so-called campus or the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba had been destroyed during Operation Sindoor. Let me go across to Major General G.D. Bakshi for more on this. But before we do that, I'm also being joined by my colleague Sahil Suhail. Sahil, this is, of course, a major admission coming from a terrorist belonging to the Lashkar-e-Taiba. He's, of course, tried to balance all that out by talking about the importance of Chinese weaponry and how Europe has been shamed, among other claims that he's made. But the big takeaway from that admission is his own acknowledgement that the Murid K headquarters of the Lashkar-e-Taiba was damaged beyond recognition during Operation Sindoor.
Well, exactly. The statement that in fact is coming from this LET top commander Hafiz Abdul Rauf. The underlying fact is that he is admitting the intensity and magnitude of Operation Sindoor. In fact, himself admitting that the attack was big, and in fact spelling out the damage it had caused there at Markaz Taiba in Murid K. Today, remember, was in fact this gathering there. In fact, top commanders, including son of Hafiz Saeed, Tala Saeed, was present there, along with, in fact, hundreds of students who, in fact, were ideologically, in fact, brainwashed there inside the Murid K. The Hafiz of the Roof, the same man who had led funeral prayers of those terrorists who were killed in the Operation Sindoor at the same stop and same location, in fact, coming on today publicly, openly admitting the intensity and magnitude of Operation Sindoor. We remember how our armed forces had carried out Operation Sindoor with precision, targeting 9 terror bases, including the Murid K, and in fact dismantling all of that infrastructure, while as at the same time killing a number of terrorists.
Okay, Sahil, I just need to interrupt you for a moment. We do have Major General G.D. Bakshi on the phone line. General Bakshi, good afternoon to you. Well, an important admission being made by a Pakistani terrorist about the success of Operation Sindoor. Well, we'll try to patch that line once again with General Bakshi. But Sahil, coming back to you again, you were, of course, talking about what is a very important acknowledgement indeed. Of course, he tried to lace it with some propaganda as well about the importance of Chinese weaponry. But what's really important is the fact that the Pakistanis were left completely shell-shocked as a consequence of India's actions during Operation Sindoor. Well, Sahil, I'll just come back to you. General Bakshi, we had a Pakistani terrorist, Hafiz Abdul Rauf of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, admit that Operation Sindoor was in fact a success because of the damage that it managed to inflict in Murid K, which is the headquarters of the LET. Your response?
Look, we don't need Rauf's stupid testimony. We have satellite photographs. We have visual imagery photographs of that Lashkar-e-Taiba, that Markaz-e-Taiba headquarters blasted to smithereens. Their rafters down, their roofs down, reduced to rubble. We have similar photographs of the Markaz-e-Subhanallah in Bawalpur, destroyed, roofs penetrated, whole rooms blasted, their rafters down, their ceiling down. They are just admitting facts, and facts will come out slowly because Pakistan tries to hide, to obfuscate, to try and claim nothing really happened when they have got gotten been kicked in their groin. And we don't actually need the testimony of these stupid people, except I think some people who are slightly pathological in this country. They all want proof from Pakistan. They might need this evidence. The rest of us don't need it because we have the air photographs, the satellite photographs of the terrific damage that was inflicted by our Air Force and by the army in the POK camps. So, yes, now the Pakistanis are coming out by slow degrees. The truth is seeping out, even from that side. Those who were doing bloody war dances and bhangdas ki hum jeet gaye, pit gaye.
Yes.
It was evident with the satellite photographs. Now, even the Pakistanis are slowly admitting the truth.
Absolutely. The high time that they did that. Many thanks, General Bakshi, for your perspective. Of course, nobody seeking validation from a bunch of terrorists about the success of Operation Sindoor, but the very fact that they've been forced to admit it and acknowledge it shows the extent of our success. Let me go back once again to Sahil Sohail. Sahil, this is perhaps an indication of how rattled the deep state in Pakistan, the terrorist outfits that they support, actually are as a result of the Indian response post-Pahalgam.
Yes, exactly, because they were certainly caught by surprise because Indian armed forces with precision targeting and hitting 9 terror bases in Pakistan and in POK. It was not just POK, it was in Pakistan, Bahawalpur and Muridke, where in fact the targets were hit, and that too with precision. In fact, the areas and the coordinates that were locked, and with precision our armed forces basically hit those targets. And now these statements often coming from these elite terror commanders, and the underlying fact is that they are now admitting that it was a big attack. That basically shows that how in fact the rattled they are, and how much the intensity and magnitude of the Operation Sindoor was. Yes, of course, we do not need a certification or acknowledgement from these elite terror commanders, but the fact of the matter is that they had in fact the Operation Sindoor had in fact completely served its purpose by hitting those bases. It's not for the first time. Previously, we had also, in fact, our armed forces had carried out similar operations hitting the terror infrastructure in POK, but this time around the Operation Sindoor has in fact set the red lines for Pakistan, and that's why now the deep state then Pakistan and other in fact are simply in fact basing their propaganda on statements and whatsoever, but the real fact is that Operation Sindoor has served as a large and big deterrence for Pakistan.